Hi, my name is Jen, and I'm the kinda old autistic lady. Today's video topic is the number one mistake I made before and after having recent neck surgery. I, right around in this region, had a disc replaced and some bones fused together. Therefore, as you can tell, my voice is very rough. It's going to take a long time for me to get it back, and I really don't want to stop creating videos just because my voice is having issues. So I'm going to make some changes going forward until my voice is back. The first thing is, please, 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 if you are an autistic person who is not speech abled and you're used to using software or other tools that create audio on your behalf, let me know what you use and what you use it for, because I don't know if the solution I'm using is going to be my best option, but I'm thinking it might take a while, and so I might try several tools. So I'm going to do this video as a combination of my own voice and then some AI generated voice. The voice's name is Jane. And I'm going to try to be as easy on my own voice as possible. I'm not going to try to mime it or anything, but I am going to kind of point and listen to it. And I may add some additional captions or just plain react as I would react if I heard somebody else saying it to me in terms of my face. So here goes nothing.
There is one crucial mistake I made as a late diagnosed autistic person before and after having the surgery, and I'm paying for those mistakes now. Remember, I spent most of my life thinking I was neurotypical, so I went into it with a mixture of that mindset with the newly diagnosed as autistic person mindset. The number one mistake I made before the surgery was to not think about my resources and take an inventory of them. I've had other surgeries in the past, and other than things like transportation and scheduling, I never really had to think about what my resource needs would be during recovery. I was raised with the idea that I'm always supposed to try to be as independent as possible and only ask for help once failure had happened on my own.
The number one mistake I made prior to having the surgery is not taking stock of my resources in advance and planning for what I would need. So I was told that this was going to happen to my voice, and I was told it was going to last a long time. And I didn't plan adequately for that. I really needed to use my resources in two ways, and I just hadn't planned. So the first thing I needed to do was to maybe put post-it notes everywhere on my computer that basically would say, just shut up already. Because I was trying to talk to myself while I went back to work. And it served no purpose other than to stress my voice out. But I'm so accustomed to doing it because I'm an oral processor. The second is I made phone calls to people to tell them how I was, and got a little chatty whenever I felt like my voice was getting better and I needed to stop that. A text goes a long way.
The second ramification to this mistake about not taking stock of my resources had an unexpected result. My main support person, my husband, had been out of the house the other day. I think it was day 7 or 8 of my healing after surgery. My phone charger had become unplugged, and the power strip is behind a piece of furniture. Had I thought about what my needs were, what resources I had at my disposal, and alternatives, the conclusion would have been to either plug the phone into a different wall socket or power strip. Simple. It should have been very simple. What happened in actuality was far from simple. After getting the phone plugged in, I lost my balance and fell. As I was falling, I knew I had to protect my neck at all costs, so I fell in a way that was different from what it would have otherwise been. Yes, I protected my neck, but I ended up knocking over other furniture and landing with my legs and hand taking the brunt of the damage. I was bruised but suffered no serious injuries. I already more or less felt like I had been hit by a Mack truck from my waist up from the surgery itself, but now I'm healing from bruised legs and a bruised hand, the same hand that had the problems necessitating the surgery. The bruising isn't on the same part of my hand that was affected, fortunately. I'm learning about how uncoordinated and clumsy I am, perhaps as a result of my autism. My husband agrees that the placement of the power strip needs to be changed long-term because its location is very awkward to get to. He also reiterated that he wouldn't have thought doing the task for me would have been any big deal. I'm fortunate to have such a caring person in my life. I'm learning the hard way how being as independent as possible has gotten me into trouble in my life. I have to remember that low support needs doesn't mean no support needs. My support needs are definitely higher while I'm recovering from surgery. I'm still in a fair amount of pain.
So basically what they did during the surgery, and I'm so happy because the incision is below my sweatshirt. I thought maybe I'd have to blur it out. But basically he cut into this side of my neck, the surgeon did. And I'm not going to get too graphic, so don't worry about that. But if you don't want to hear about why I'm in pain still, you might want to look for the next timestamp. I'm going to add some automatic chapters in this, or some manual chapters. But anyway, he cut into this side of my neck, right about here. But then he had to approach it from over here. So both sides of my neck are sore anyway. And then I didn't fully understand this prior to surgery, but I read his notes. And a lot of stuff happened between cutting muscles and bone grafts. And of course, putting hardware in and removing old joint. And he also had to move my trachea and esophagus over, which is actually why my throat is so sore and why I'm going hoarse. So all of that is to say that I underestimated what my support needs would be. And also, as an aside, and I'm gonna probably make this, I'm gonna wrap up the video, forget about what I said about chapters. I'm not gonna re-record it because I only have so much voice. I'm also learning that, the quest for knowledge, which I think is a very autistic thing, it probably worked against me in this case because I wanted to see the doctor's notes online in the portal about the surgery after the fact, because I was kind of like, why am I in so much pain in places I wasn't expecting? And I read his notes, and they were many pages long, and it detailed everything he did. And now I understand why the surgery was like 2 hours. And I wish I didn't know that much detail about what happened, because I think there's like a psychosomatic response where I think that I am in a little bit more pain in recovery than I would have been otherwise. So my parting words on this video, since I have a little voice at the moment, is unless you need to for some reason, you might not want to read the detailed notes of the surgery if they're available to you online. Not gonna lie though, if somebody had said that to me prior to the surgery, it probably would have made me want to read them even more. And but yeah, to summarize really this whole video, as a neurotypical person and trying to be independent all the time prior to my diagnosis, I didn't plan well enough in general, and it got me into a lot of trouble in my life. But thinking about resources, you know, I'm just learning more and more about what my support needs really are. And if I don't take stock of what resources are available and when they're available and what my needs actually are versus wants, I probably wouldn't understand this journey as well as I'm starting to, about understanding my diagnosis and what that means for me. Because I tell you what, getting older, needing surgery, I'm not in physical therapy at the moment, but I'm sure I will be after my follow-up with the surgeon. You know, going through this, and I'm sure I'll continue to go through it because life kind of works out that way when you get older and older and older. I think my support needs are going to go up. I do. And hopefully it's timed well enough that when my husband has needs, that I can lend him more of my energy. And my voice itself is a resource. And during this time when I'm healing, I'm going to make a more concerted effort to only use it when I need it. And making this video for me is something that I needed to do. So it's not wasteful to talk right now into this video. But it's only because I was able to rest my voice while making the rest of the video and playing around with figuring out the AI and the captions and all of that gave me an opportunity to be able to talk now. So I do realize and appreciate that if I just, I don't want to say baby it because that's really not the right word, but if I take care of my voice, it will come back. It will stop hurting. And I just need to be patient, which I'm not, because my routines are still disrupted as a result of having the surgery and everything. So, I am really glad that you watched. And if you've made it this far, that you've stuck with me, because the editing on this, I know, has been a little interesting. But I do intend to continue to use the captioning now that I understand how to use it, as well as some of the AI stuff until my voice is 100%. And write in the comments if you think it's helpful for me to put the entire, not just the captions that's highlighting the immediate word and the words, a couple words before, a couple words after. If you find it helpful and more accessible to, in addition to having that, to see the whole text, as I'm just basically taking screenshots of what those captions are pulling from, because it wasn't always captioning everything. And so I initially put it there in order to have it so that the words it wasn't captioning, that you could see that they were there in the script. I find it helpful, but I'm also not somebody that turns on subtitles and captions unless I actually really need them. I grew up pre-Netflix. I know a lot of people say that they can't hear unless the captions are on, due to how the volume imbalance is and how often people use them. So I don't know which is more helpful, to see more of me and have my image bigger, or to have the entire, handful of sentences there in addition to the actual text that's highlighting. So I'm going to continue to try to get better at that. But I appreciate you, and thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you want to continue on the journey with me. And do comment, especially I would like to know what everybody's supports are when it comes to communicating, in terms of not only, like I was the call I was saying at the beginning, for software and whatnot, for, folks that are not speech abled, but also, when you watch YouTube videos, is having the picture be more visible the more important thing, or is having words available the more important thing? Is it a matter of having the right balance? As well as, I was thinking about potentially doing something with other types of accessibility on the videos that I might have to play around with a little bit to figure out. But if there's something in particular that you find helpful from an accessibility standpoint on YouTube that maybe isn't an automatic feature that YouTube can just turn on or whatnot, do let me know. And I'm going to continue to post videos, though they might not be as often as I was pre-surgery, just because of letting the voice heal. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.